G'day viewers, this is Troy from the Troy's Visual Arts channel. I've now got some very good news on Project Vidicon Mark II. I've now fixed the issue of that 20 volt supply. Well, now it's 21 volts. I'm supplying to the 28 DC volt power supply section of the power supply circuit. Yeah, I've as seen in the previous video, I've put a new transformer in which supplies multiple AC voltages, and I'm using the 21 volt tap of it and supplying 21 volts to the bridge rectifier, which will output about roughly 28 volts thereabouts, and maybe about 30 volts, somewhere around that bracket. And yeah, DC, and supplies the 15 volt regulator and gives her the 15 volt supply to the main board. Well, anyway, she's now working properly. I'm not the regulator. The bridge is not roasting like it previously was. Yeah, I have not tied the one side of the 21 volt supply down to ground. The 0 volt is pretty much not connected to common ground. As said in a previous video, I really am not so sure how the earthing works with the output windings of a transformer, because it's confusing, because the 250 volt supply, one side is tied to earth, whereas this supply, nothing's tied to earth at the AC output windings. Well, anyway, good news. We've got something on display. Nothing exactly tangible yet, but it is a start. I actually have waved the LED light in front of the camera, and I see something come up on display. Another thing too, as you can see, there's this little bit of shadow line here. That actually, I believe this tube was the tube that I burnt way back in 2002 in my Sony AVC 3200 camera, and I know I burnt a squiggly line that went something like that, and I believe that is the part of the burn line. So yeah, it is actually trying to display a picture, but the problem is there's problems with the time-based circuitry, and plus I've actually got to add capacitance to the DC output so I can dramatically reduce the ripple, because the problem is I've got intense ripple on the focus input here, the focus supply, which is before the 15 volt regulator. So I'm still getting ripple despite having a full wave rectifier. So I've got to add, say, a good 5,000 microfarads of capacitance, and that will dampen the ripple considerably, and hopefully we'll have something more tangible on display. Alrighty, so here is my LED light. I'm going to shine it in front of the camera, and you'll see some action on the bottom of the picture, on the bottom right corner particularly. So it is half working. So that is really good news. I dare say the video circuitry at least is working, because it is amplifying the signal, and when I put the screwdriver on the target, I will get some noise. So I put it at the target, and probably better off using a flathead so I can get it down onto the target. So have a look at that. We've got some noise happening, so the video side of things looks to be working, the video circuit. It's mainly, the main thing to deal with is the reducing the ripple on the 28 volt side of the power supply, 28 volt output. put a 5000 microfarad capacitor on. Here I've got a 4700 microfarad capacitor. I'm gonna put that on. I'm gonna put that across the 28 volt output, and that'll reduce the ripple. And then yeah, after that it's a matter of working out what's going on with the time-based circuitry, and yeah, perhaps swapping some leads around at the focus, horizontal, vertical outputs. So I know they have to be a specific way around. So they're the things I've got to work on. But it is a great start. It is a great plus that we're actually getting something out of the camera, and the bridge is not roasting up this time. Anyway, so yeah, I've actually got to rivet up that AC power supply because it's still sitting, the front plate is still sitting loose. Oh, another thing to mention, yeah, I was holding the camera with one hand underneath, and I put the screwdriver in the focus trim pot adjustment, and I got a bit of a zap to my hand. So I've got a couple of hundred volts riding that focus trim pot, so I've got to be very careful. I'm going to have to somehow find some little plastic knobs to stick over these trim pots so I can adjust them without having to use a metal screwdriver. So yeah, safety is of utmost importance. Speaking of which, I actually forgot to turn the bloody AC power supply off when I was working on it, and I got a bit of a wallop to my hand, and yeah, and I I kind of screamed a bit, freak out, more of a freak out. But yeah, I've got to be more careful when dealing with voltages in general, high voltage or even low voltages. Anyway, that's the latest update with Project Vidicon Mark II. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next video. This is Troy from the Troy's Digital Arts channel, signing out.